And we are live. So, welcome to episode 303 of An American Werewolf. I am Michael Martin, the American Werewolf, and Brussels sprouts and cheese is my favorite pie.
That's right.
In the house tonight, we've got John K. Alvarez, and he says, aha! This was a great movie, as I suspected it would be. Here we are. It is April Fool's Day, but this is not a joke at all.
That's right.
For the month of April, this channel is going to be discussing the films of Jim Jarmusch. And any opportunity that I have to watch a film from a director that I have not seen yet, I'm going to take. In this case, I'm talking about Jim Jarmusch's Amazon original film, Paterson. So if you're ready to go, shall we get it going?
Let's get on the bus.
Wookie wookie. So this is from Wikipedia. It says Paterson is a 2016 drama film written and directed by Jim Jarmusch. The film stars Adam Driver as a bus driver and poet named Paterson, and Golshifteh Farahani as his wife, who dreams of being a country music star and opening a cupcake business, as the two live out their day-to-day life in Paterson, New Jersey. Paterson was selected to compete in the Palme d'Or at the.
I'm just moving I didn't tap. I was shifting. What? Sorry, I'm talking to my roommate. My apologies.
Okay. At the 2016 Cannes Film Festival, where it won the Palme Dog Award. It was released in Germany on November 17, 2016 by K5 International, in France on December 21st, 2016 by Le Pacte, and in the United States on December 18, 2016 by Amazon Studios and Bleecker Streets. Now, the key theme here, I would argue, the poetry of everyday life. Now,
I agree. I'll give you that.
I remember when I first watched Linklaters before Sunrise, the initial conversation between Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, and he's, they're BSing around, and he's had this conversation, and he was telling her about this idea that he had to create like a 24-hour cable television show that filmed a person's life, and every day you wake up and you have a little bit of coffee and you're flipping through a paper, because this was the 90s when people still read newspapers, so on and so forth. And she's sort of making fun of him, and she's like, those boring, mundane things everybody does every day of their fucking life. And she's like, yeah, I call it the poetry of day-to-day life. And right. So I think that Jarmusch now in 2016, maybe 25 years later, or 20 plus years later, actually decided to make a film about and created poetry. These two people and their day-to-day life. And it says the film celebrates ordinary routines, driving the same bus route, dog, having one beer at the same bar, and finds beauty in small details like matchboxes, waterfalls, and overheard conversations. It suggests that art and meaning arise from paying close attention to the quote-unquote things around us rather than grand adventures.
Exactly.
Why don't you take it? Had you seen this before? This movie is available on Amazon. It's an Amazon exclusive film. Had you seen it before, and what did you think?
No, actually, I hadn't seen it before, so I did a little research before I sat down and watched it. And one of the things I found myself doing as I'm watching the movie was saying, what am I actually watching? And as the movie kept going on and on and on, I found myself enjoying it, but still kept saying, what am, there's none of the Hollywood cliches in this movie.
Yeah.
Different things that could have happened if it was done like as done by a hack writer, for lack of a better term. For in Hollywood, they would have thrown in all these different things that would have taken the ordinary man out of the ordinary life. But you didn't have to, and it was beautiful to watch. I mean, I've told on this show before that I used to write a column for a weekly publication. And it was about my, basically my experiences in this small little town. And I remember one time talking about my father, who I was taking care of, and he turned around and was looking at, it was a normal day, but he was enjoying it. And he said, and I asked him, what are you doing? He said, I'm finding the magnificence in the mundane. And I always thought that. I liked that. When I saw this movie, that's what I caught. There was a lot of that.
I think that there was a lot of wisdom in this film. I also think that, I sort of maybe would have taken Julie Delpy's opinion, the boring fucking mundane things people do every day of their life, but here you weren't getting that.
Right.
And Adam Driver, he plays a guy named Paterson, driving I love seeing the New Jersey Transit bus through the city of Paterson, New Jersey. I think the movie takes place over 7 days.
Yeah.
And his routine, where he wakes up on his own, he has this gorgeous wife that he borderline worships.
Right.
She seems to feel the same way about him. They haven't had kids yet, but they seem to be talking and moving in that direction.
Yep.
He's working. She stays at home. She is an extremely arty type of woman. She's always decorating the house, or she takes and paints the shower curtains, or designing new curtains for the home, this, that, and the other. She seems to be, in some cases, a terrible cook, which we'll get into. Some things she hits out of the park. Nobody's perfect in this.
Right.
But they just seem completely content in their day-to-day routines. Now, he is also a poet, not in the sense that, like you said, he's battling the system or he's the tortured artist or something like that. He's just a man who carries a notebook around with him everywhere he goes. When he has an idea in a few spare minutes, he jots down a couple of lines. Publication, it's not for other people to look at. It's for his own personal joy, in the same way that she has ideas. She loves to bake. Maybe one day, I'll open a cupcake store. Maybe one day I'll, be a country western singer. She just learns how to play guitar. While all of this is happening, and it's just this gorgeous thing that you love to watch.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw the previews or the trailer. I stumbled onto this trailer one time by accident, and I was like, "Oh, yeah!" I like instantly knew. It very much had that same feeling that I had when I saw the trailer for Last Flag Flying. I was like, "Okay, this is going to be something." 15 minutes into watching it today, which I watched for the first time, I found a DVD copy on Amazon, I think, for $8. It'll be here tomorrow.
There you go.
So Jarmusch just did a hell of a job with this.
And it's funny, I don't know any of his work. I have to confess to that. All of his stuff is new to me.
Okay, well, this will be a good month for you then, as many as you're doing.
And I could not get over how much I was, because I always liked Adam Driver, but it was so nice to see him not screaming that he wants to kill Luke Skywalker.
Yes, when you get him out of those films, he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah,
just a really talented guy.
Mm-hmm.
It says structured like a poem over 1 week, because this happens from Monday to Sunday. The film repeats daily rituals with subtle variations. This mirrors life's patterns, including circles, Cheerios, bus wheels, molecules, and the idea that repetition can foster creativity and mindfulness instead of boredom. Let me ask you this.
Yep.
And maybe this is an unfair question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you think this was, because I was going to start off by saying, you and I need to get to Paterson as quickly as possible, on a bus, and there's a beautiful Persian woman waiting for us, this, that, or the other. But
exactly.
Is he, because the other people around him aren't leading this charmed life.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got his supervisor, and every time the guy comes to the door, Donnie, the Indian guy who comes to the door every time he's just waiting to unload with what's going on. And it's normal everyday shit. My daughter needs braces, and my wife wants to go to vacation in Florida. I'm already behind on the mortgage payments. My cousin needs money owed to send to India for their niece to get married or something like that. It's just,
and I got a rash.
He's got a rash on his back, that I really don't want to talk about, he just wants to complain.
Right.
And is it that these people, Adam Driver and his wife, are leading this charmed life? Or is it just that they just seem to have a greater appreciation for what they have?
Right.
I think it's the others who sort of get caught up in the negativity.
I think it's sort of the appreciation of what they have. I felt this was a very Zen-like movie with him. He seemed he never really got frustrated. He seemed balanced even when he went through disappointments and good times.
Yeah.
He kept a nice even keel, and it was believable. And I kind of like that about the character, because you can always have, when you talk about a quote unquote artist on film, they could be all wearing black and they're tortured.
Yes.
And oh God, the pain. And I have to drive this bus.
Man. Yeah.
He doesn't. He notices everything. He really does. He's an observer throughout this whole movie.
Go ahead.
No, he's an observer and a listener, but he's not he's not eavesdropping.
No.
It's just that he's aware of his surroundings. So when someone starts talking or someone starts doing something, he's attuned to it. He catches it, which is a genuine thing for an artist that I've, through my experiences, either painting or writing or poets, they were aware of things that most people might not see or hear.
I was caught up in that, I've heard many artists say this. I listen.
Mm-hmm.
Or he talks about another, or they'll talk about another artist and say that person he or she is always listening.
Right.
And this man did a lot more listening and a lot less talking.
Mm-hmm.
If he was on the bus, catching crosstalk between the kids. They're talking about Reuben Hurricane Carter, or college kids that are talking about, anarchists. They both look like they're about 19.
They made me laugh.
Yeah. Do you think there are any other anarchists? Well,
Paterson?
in this town, no, probably not.
Besides the two of us, no.
Yeah, the two guys that were, like afraid of women, and they're talking about how they've both been approached by women. What did you do, man? They both, it's the same thread. Oh well,
Yeah.
I had to get up for early for work the next day, so but she was interested. It was definitely cool.
And
You
I
know,
loved it that a very sly moment when the one girl was getting off the bus, she just rolled her eyes.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and
You
he
got to watch
caught
out
that.
for him. Yeah, yeah,
He was aware of that. He caught that. You know, I love that. There was a lot of subtle, sweet moments in this movie.
yeah. It's very much it feels like a meditation on what
Hmm.
I'm not a meditation, just maybe on everyday life.
Hmm.
That there is beauty if you slow down. Like he doesn't want a cell phone.
Hmm.
He doesn't want a cell phone. He wants nothing to do with that. It feels like a leash.
Yeah.
It's not filling his brain pan. With anything useful, he could be using it for something else. And it's fantastic. Um,
Hmm.
let's get into his wife a little bit, and
Yeah.
I have such difficulty remembering her how to pronounce her name. Oh, hold on a second. Let me bring her up. Yeah, there she is. Hold on. She is Persian.
Yeah.
Golshifteh
Hmm.
Farahani, and I've seen her in a million different things.
Hmm.
And
And the thing is, she's one of those type of people who, to excuse the term, she radiates beauty,
yeah,
but it's not made by science. It's kind of just her
yeah,
personality, the way she shines. I mean, it's a cliche when someone says someone has an inner glow and they let it out. In this movie, at least when she was doing this character,
yeah.
she was able to charm that. You know,
Yeah, she channeled like the perfect partner.
yeah.
What the perfect partner would be like.
Hmm.
You know, and amongst all my married friends, I've never seen anyone come close to this one. Uh,
Yeah.
she is just fantastic. She lives at home. She doesn't work. She, keeps up. Well, she doesn't, work out in the world. She keeps up the house. She does a fantastic job of it. She seems content. Uh,
Hmm.
she wants to cook. She wants to bake. There are lots of
Hmm.
things to occupy her time. She's not worried about what she doesn't have.
Right.
She has this dream of being like a country and western singer. Which is, just it's the sense that I guess you must realize that every person, living the 9 to 5 life, living the Monday through Friday life, or working weekends or whatever it is, they have dreams,
Right.
you know, and
Exactly.
like most people, they're probably not going to come true,
Hmm.
but they're not within the limited parameters of what they have. They're willing to explore that, and not for commercial gain, because I think it's the achievement is what drives people crazy, rather
Right.
than just the doing.
Right.
They both seem to just find enjoyment in the doing of the things that they enjoy. She is
Hmm.
like nudging him, to read some copies of the poems that he writes in his book. You can
Right.
tell he's not really interested in that.
Hmm.
He promises her because he loves her so much. Uh,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
is she going to Nashville to become the next Loretta Lynn? Probably not. There's like a 1 in a billion chance.
But you know what? She'll do great at the Paterson open mic night.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. She can. She's the queen. She's the cupcake queen of Paterson, and she finds joy in that.
Hmm.
You know.
Well, there was a teacher that I had at Stockton. His name was Gene Taruso, and he asked all the actors in the acting class about um, like what would be considered a success, and everybody was talking about being famous, or everybody was talking about being a celebrity esque, or I walk into a room and everybody shudders, and blah 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 blah. And he asked about me, and he said, as long as I'm still doing it. He looked at me because if I'm doing good work, I don't care if it's on Broadway or New York or Broadway, West Cape May. You know, there's people, there's going to be crowds, and you find that artistic venue.
Yeah.
A couple years later, they were doing a statue. I don't know if you ever met this teacher. Her name was Pat Hecht.
No.
She was the first acting and art student teacher there, and she passed away when I was a student.
Okay.
And they were dedicating a plaque and a statue to her. And the same teacher I had showed up to direct the misanthrope for the students and actually worked with them for a semester.
Sure.
And when we met and talked, he was going down everybody's life, and they were all disappointed. And I told him everything I had done. And there were students that were, or former students that were going, wait, so you actually took your degree and did it? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I also did this, I also did that, and but yeah. And they said, why? And I said, because it's not the where, it's the why. Why are you doing this type deal? You can do it anywhere. I mean,
anybody that plays an acoustic guitar, anybody that carries around a notebook to jot a few notes down, a few lines down, anybody that does stage production at the local level, are you going to Cannes Film Festival? No. I mean, they're doing it because they love it. Are they going to win a Grammy? No. They're doing it because they love it. That kind of thing.
Yep, some of the plays that I've written that have actually still been produced and done over and over and over again. I'm shocked. I'm going, really? You guys want to do this? All right, cool. All right, let's work out the copyrights. But because I never really wrote it for that, I just wrote it because we needed a show, and I said, I'll take a crack at it. Let me do it, and found myself enjoying it. I remember when I got my first check for the first play I wrote. And it was in Cape May, and I got my first residual check, and I'm holding it and smiling. And my mother smacked me in the back of the head as hard as she could. And she's told you could write, I'm like, oh, all right. But that's, nobody was expecting that. They see me and they go like, what do you mean you're a writer?
What did you think of the poems themselves as they were being read, as the text from the lines were? I thought they were really good. I'm not a poetry fan. I have a whole shelf in my bookcases that's dedicated to poetry. I never read them. It made me feel like maybe it's time I start pulling some of these off the shelf because there's value there. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Michael.
No, I was going to say, this movie, and I'm going to watch it again when it shows up. Maybe I'll watch it over the weekend again or something. It's having like kind of an impact on me to reconsider things, or with the way my particular outlook has been. That maybe there's room for more quiet and observation and just doing.
Being affected as opposed to doing the affect.
Well,
sit back and let everybody take it in and affect you. Allow it to come in.
Well, coming back after being gone for so long to this place hasn't really sat very well with me. So this was one of the things here in this channel now that I did to sort of offset that struggle in terms of the adjustment.
Right.
But, maybe I've been looking at it with the wrong pair of eyes. So, that's worth consideration. That's worth consideration. Hold on a second. Go ahead. Let me get some behind the scenes here. It says Jarmusch wrote the script in one draft without rewrites. Many lines of conversations come from real, overheard dialogues he collected over years. The poems, quote, by Paterson were mostly written by poet Ron Paget, some existing, some new for the film. Jarmusch wrote one himself, like Waterfall's poem spoken by the young girl. It was shot in about 30 days in 2015, primarily in Paterson, New Jersey, for the bus routes in Great Falls, with some interiors and exteriors in Yonkers. That's where the house and the bar were located at. Queens and other New York spots. Jarmusch described on-screen Paterson as partly a but with real affection for the actual city. Adam Driver trained and got a commercial bus driver's license for authenticity. He drove actual routes during the filming. Driver
making money on the side.
Yeah, exactly. Reactive style matched the character perfectly. Jarmusch loved that he didn't overanalyze.
Right. Right.
Farahani, the wife, brought energetic contrast as Laura because it is true she was, kind of, bouncy
Yeah.
and energy, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sure, that sounds
Yeah.
great."
And it wasn't over the top.
No,
Again, when she was doing that.
no, it wasn't.
One of my favorite scenes with the two of them, I think it was Tuesday.
Okay.
He was lying in bed next to her, and she wasn't wearing clothes, but you didn't see anything.
Hmm.
And when he looks at her, she goes, "I'm cold." And he affectionately pulls the sheet over her.
Yeah.
And it just the way he did, I'm going, oh my God. I mean, they would have made it over the top or something. Anybody else who was handling that scene.
Yeah.
There were so many tender moments in this movie that it genuinely worked.
Well, that's the odd thing about it is that it's all tender moments between them, and that's what sits outside the standard realm of what you see in films. There's a conflict,
right?
Or somebody's discontent. Somebody's not happy,
mm-hmm.
And they've got to make it known. Or
right.
And I was waiting for it to get into the trope, especially when the black girl sat next to him in the bar.
Right.
Like, oh God, is he going to start, having, start talking to some woman?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I was constantly waiting for someone to kidnap Marvin, the dog, when he kept sitting him outside the bar. I'm like, someone's going to kidnap him. Like, I was waiting constantly for the other shoe to drop in this film, and it doesn't in the way that you think it's going to.
Right.
Something does happen towards the end of the film. In that, Marvin ends up eating his poetry book that he eats out by mistake. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't take, it doesn't take any of the regular cliches.
Right.
Normal cliches are there, and it's fantastic to watch. It's beautiful. I think it's just under 2 hours, but I didn't mind at all. If it had gone on for another week, I would have watched it. It's just great to watch these two young people that love each other have a nice week.
And everybody else that was in it, the cast of characters that were in this movie, you knew all of them practically.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy that was manager at the bus station.
Yeah.
Are you all right? Well, since you asked, and he goes on a litany of complaints, and you start laughing at it because you're like, yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah.
Lock at the bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who had one of my favorite lines when he was playing chess and said, "Oh, man, I'm getting my ass kicked." Who are you playing against? Myself. It was not having the television in the bar.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
Because it made you concentrate on the conversations or the people. I remember writing a play where I had a guy, a male and a female, and they were just friends. And I was being told by other people on the panel, "Oh no, they were lovers." And I'm going, "No, they were friends." I have a lot of women in my life, who was what I was basing it on, who were my friend.
Right.
No romantic relationship at all.
Right.
Yeah, but I bet you if you would, I said, actually, no, they're friends. They were never, ever crossed my mind with that. And they were like, and they couldn't get that. But when you see it on this film, not just with Adam Driver, even with the girl, and just friendly,
like I said, when I was waiting at least because I think the black girl in the bar appears 3 or 4 different times.
Yeah,
because every night when he goes to walk Marvin the dog, he stops off at this one bar for one beer. Mm-hmm. He has like a real meticulous routine, without it being really type A or anal. But he has, just subtle variations in basically the same routine. He goes up to walk the dog, and he goes to the bar. He has one beer. He shoots the shit with the regulars in there because he is a regular. And then it's the next morning, and he's woken up next to his wife, and they're happy to see each other again.
He doesn't wake up with an alarm.
No.
He just wakes up.
Yeah, he just kind of wakes up.
The inner clock is working.
Yeah, within 10
I love that.
minutes. Yeah. Always.
I love the fact that it wasn't a digital watch. It was, when they had a wine and the numbers that were on it. There were a
Yeah,
lot of little things that added to their characters,
yeah.
type deal.
It's a very good script.
Yeah,
It's a very good script.
and
The
some good camera work too.
beautiful shots, and like I'd never considered giving Paterson that kind of a look before, but it was just it made the city just seem charming and
Hmm.
beautiful, and
It gave it a lovely small town feel.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It seemed more like a small town than a city.
Hmm.
It
Like
seemed
I have
more.
a nephew who went to college that was right outside of Paterson, or right by Patterson,
Mhm.
and I got him to watch this movie, and he turned around and said, "This ain't the Patterson I know." And I turned
Yeah,
around I said, "Well, did you?" He goes, "But no, there were charming things." Like he mentioned that bar.
yeah.
He said, "I've walked into places like that," and I said, "You know what? I got to get out because I can live here. I need to move." Type deal. But he said you find the charm in everything in this movie.
Yeah, because he sees it.
Yeah.
Not even that. I mean, I'm not saying it's not. It's that it's not there or that he's delusional. It's just that he sees it. He's an
Mhm.
observer. He's a
Yeah.
great observer. He's just great at observation.
I mean,
I love that you go to. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. No, go ahead. You go.
I was going to say I love that. I love the bar.
Hmm.
Like you said, the owner refuses to have a television set. You have to actually
Hmm.
talk to each other.
Yeah. The old
Uh,
fashioned jukebox in the corner.
Got an old-fashioned CD jukebox in there. People in the corner
Hmm.
playing chess. A pool table.
Hmm.
The first two people in there are named Sam and Dave.
Right.
'Cause our mother was like, our parents were like R&B addicts. Don't
Yeah.
ask. It's that.
And I laughed out loud when I heard their names. I'm like,
Yeah.
Sam and Dave. There you go.
The bartender has a wall of like all the famous people from that era or that area of New Jersey. Sam and Dave. He's got an avenue. What was it? It's
Bud
Costello.
Abbott.
There's a Bud Abbott. It's got Bud Abbott up there. He's
Oh,
got.
Costello. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It was Bud Costello.
So I mean, it's just, and I love that the guy from is Dave is like, hey, the Rutgers game is on. Aren't you ever going to get a TV? He's like, fuck no, I'm not getting anything. You know, I mean, it's just it's just this fantastic meditation. I don't know. I wouldn't call it bullshit.
Right.
Rose-colored glasses, but
Hmm.
I mean, I think that's the point, in that there is beauty in these everyday things if you take the time to appreciate them and probably push the other bullshit off your plate.
Right. I mean, one of the things that I noticed a lot, especially when Adam Driver's character was listening to people or being aware of people, is that when somebody went into a monologue, so to speak, like when the two guys on the bus were talking about the women and all of a sudden they were giving all this details, or the two anarchist kids, or even the lady that came down and started yelling at Doc for taking the money out of the jar because she wanted to get her hair done.
Oh, that was his wife. Yeah,
Yeah, there weren't monologues. Shakespeare used to call them, when he called them soliloquies, because he said there were genuine times you went past the one or two sentences when you're talking to somebody. And they were genuine. They weren't preachy. They weren't the little girl who was the poet
that was
when
fantastic.
she talked to him.
So beautiful.
Yeah, and and it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't conjuring up images or forcing things.
No,
It just happened.
yeah,
And
I don't.
it was watching that you were like, shit,
And if
this
it
is
did,
really, really good.
if it did have a score, it wasn't really telling you how to feel.
Right.
Like maybe it was there. I don't even remember. But like how sometimes you
Mhm.
watch something and the score kicks in. Oh my god, I'm
Yeah.
supposed to feel nervous here. Oh my god, I'm supposed to feel
Hmm.
happy here. Or, oh my god, I'm supposed to be running through the lilies here. Doing this.
Yeah.
There's none of that. It's
None of that.
just
None of that.
it's just them doing it.
And
One day the bus
well,
breaks down. That's the big exciting thing for the day, and everybody's like, I could have exploded into a big fireball.
I couldn't stop laughing. By the time I heard the third person or fourth person, the little old lady going, it could have blown up into a fireball. When Doc says it to him and he starts laughing, then I love that because
Yeah,
that's very
everybody says
normal.
the same thing to him.
Yeah.
The old lady, then his wife, than the bartender. Could have exploded into a huge fireball.
And I
But
love the fact he cared about people in this.
yeah,
Like when he saw the young girl,
yeah,
the poet, he asked, "Are you all right? I'm waiting for a month. You mind if I sit and wait?" Because he wanted to make sure she was okay.
yeah. Most people wouldn't
And
do.
then same thing on the scene with the bus where the kids are wandering away. No, 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 come on over here.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I love that. He
it also
genuinely gave a hoot
it also
about
showed
people.
that he was I don't know if you saw it when it first starts out, and you see them in bed together. Um, the nightstand, his photo, he's a Marine.
Right.
And he's got some. He looks like he's got some decorations on his chest. So you get the impression
Hmm.
maybe he's some sort of war veteran or something like that.
Hmm.
And in real life, Adam Driver was a United States Marine.
Yeah,
So
he was in the Marines in real life
yeah,
too.
I'm sure he insisted on that. One little point. So maybe he doesn't get worked up over every, because I hear that a lot from veterans that are like, when I see what civilians get worked up over,
And you didn't, but
and
you didn't. It wasn't. They showed you, and you became aware of it. They didn't force it on you.
right, yeah, it's not a Jason
And
Statham movie. It's not a
and
Jason.
when the guy pulled the gun out in the
Yeah,
bar,
he was scared.
and but he took the way he took him down,
Yeah,
and then he realized it was Doc who realized it was a toy. But it was, I mean, he was scared because he didn't want it, but he dove right in to protect everybody.
yeah, he was a
And
protector.
and then when you watch that, like, a friend of mine who I talked with this, who saw the movie, said, "Well, I didn't buy that." I said, "But he had the Marine picture.
Yeah,
You don't forget that stuff,
yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't like he was taking on a guy twice his size. He was taking on
No, some little mousy guy. Yeah,
who had a broken heart."
and that was an interesting part of the story too.
Mhm.
Inside the story was another story of
Mhm.
these regulars at the bar who had been friends since grade school apparently, and then decided to date. And of course, she breaks up with him, and he just
Right.
can't take, like he's having a melt, like he's having like a psychological breakdown over this.
Hmm.
I guess because he was convinced that she was the one. He's
Yep.
very young. He won't take no for an answer. Like he's playing like
Hmm.
every wrong card that he can play.
Right.
And
And she's trying to help him become aware. It's not working.
she's trying, but it's
Like,
just not working. Yeah.
yeah.
But
It was funny
Everett,
too. 'Cause,
the Everett character, he was interesting. It was a
yeah.
good character.
And let's give honest to one of the best jokes in the movie when he pulls out the gun and says, "Nobody move," and a bunch of people got up and ran.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the way they did it. No screaming, no, this is going to move. And I started laughing. I'm like, that's really funny.
When Adam Driver takes him down and pulls that gun, the bartender pulls
Yeah.
the gun out and shoots it, and
Yeah.
it's a Nerf gun.
Yeah.
He's like, I ought to kick your ass, running all my business out of here tonight.
Mhm. But then it was funny because when we met Adam Driver, he apologized and then gave a great line in the movie about,
Yeah,
the days go on,
yeah,
you keep going,
yeah.
which I kind of like. I mean, it did. There were each character in the movie
Had a
had
part.
their moment to shine.
Yeah, had a part to play, and he has that one Everett, the black guy, in the
Right.
breakup. He has that one outburst, and he's like, "Without love, what reason is there for anything?" You know,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
that's just it. That's the whole point of everything, maybe. Um,
But that's why I couldn't hate the guy.
no, you didn't hate Everett. I mean, you were either laughing at him, or I found that either I was laughing at him, sort of
Mhm.
laughing with him, because I mean,
Yeah.
they're guys, so all the fellows are like Adam Driver and the bartender are kind of laughing at him because he's just so
Hmm.
pathetic. But in another sense, like he doesn't come off as a villain; he's just in
No.
pain and he doesn't know how to deal with it. And so, if you like, it's relatable. He's
Yeah.
relatable, and his heart's broken, and he's just like he loses his mind for like a couple of weeks,
Hmm.
and then once that happens with the gun, then that sort of snaps him back into reality again. You know,
Right.
and even then, Adam Driver's like, "Are you okay?
Hmm.
How are you, man?" He's like,
Yeah.
I'm okay. He's like, "All right, don't
And
worry."
that's what I loved about that. It was the fact that these were people that you knew they knew each other. It wasn't like they were characters; they were genuine portrayals.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see, what else? What else do we got here? Hold on a second. No storyboards or detailed shot lists. Jarmusch prefers freedom and collaborations. He added the twins motif spontaneously during shooting and after spotting twin extras. The film was formed more in the editing room to create rhythmic daily variations and performance and changes in subtle changes in light, sound, and performance keep the repetition from feeling stale.
Right.
Let's see. He contrasted his own dislike of strict routines. The best plan is no plan with Paterson's regimented life. The film reflects his interests in artists who find inspiration in the local and mundane. So, I mean, maybe in this he's saying it's not the only way, but that there is something in this as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that? We were talking about that last week. What was it? John Lennon, where he was,
Yeah.
if you give me a tuba, I'll get you something out of it.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll make it work.
yeah, I'll find a way to make it work. And
Mhm.
there was something here, that can be extracted out of this.
I love the fact of the twins, and now that you told me that it came, he didn't plan on it; it just happened. So he kept working with it. I love that for
Yeah.
this movie. It was like two sides of every coin, you know.
Yeah, it says here, it said twins appear frequently. You have people, you have objects, motifs, symbolizing duality in life, work versus art, observation versus creation, black and white contrast like Laura's cupcakes. It explores how opposites coexist and how everything feels interconnected. Um, it's a beautiful film. Just a
Yeah,
beautiful
it
film.
is.
You are constantly waiting for a 2 hour movie for something, like I said, for the other shoe to drop. When it finally does,
Yes.
it's not what you think it is. Although I think I understood what it was going to be.
Right.
It's that their dog, and what's the name again? Marvin. They've got
Marvin.
this bulldog named Marvin, who gets his jaws on the book that Adam Driver's been writing in for seemingly forever. And
Secret Notebook.
just the secret notebook, and just shreds it. And it's in pieces all over the house.
Yep.
And again, I think what made it that much more effective was Driver's not overreacting. It's like you could tell he was gut punched about as hard as he could be gut punched. And he just kind of was like, okay. And somehow that made it worse. Like you could see the frustration in his wife, like she didn't know how to help him.
Right.
And then she tries to like chastise Marvin, and he's like, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
And then that made her want to do it even more. No, get in the
garage.
Get out of here, Marvin. It's such a good performance, and even at that point, watching it for the first time, I couldn't figure out where the movie was going to go. From here, is he just going to go off the deep end and like his regiment just going to be destroyed?
Right.
What's going to happen next? And it sounds like a silly thing to say because of it's a book. It's just a little book where you've been writing in, but that's how sort of engrossed you get in this world,
right?
This routine, and now a major piece of it has just been taken off the table. And so, what's going to happen next?
When I saw that, I'm going, why aren't you getting angry? And I noticed he was more Zen-ish. It happened. It happened, but I'll be fine. When his wife says, maybe we can tape it all back together.
Yes.
And I went, you can't do that. It's completely destroyed. I mean, even his character let Marvin in.
Yeah.
Like, all right, you're punished enough. Come on in.
Yeah.
And she said, no, whatever, but I was like, he dealt with it, and I'm going, it's gotta hurt. I mean, it's
Yeah. Where's that going to go? Where is that emotion going to go?
right,
And she just doesn't know what to say.
right.
Like, do you want me to leave? Do you want to be alone? Do you want me to? I can go for a walk or
Mhm.
something like that. And he's like, no. He goes, you know what? I'll go for a walk.
Right.
And like I had no. This was like the last 15 minutes of the movie. I had
Right.
no idea where this was going to go.
Right.
I don't think he knew where. I don't think he knew the character. Paterson knew where it was going to go.
Hmm.
And that's where we meet this Japanese man
Yes.
who just kind of approaches him.
Right.
And I had forgotten that because I think in the trailer that I had seen, he's in the trailer, the Japanese man.
Yeah.
And he just starts this conversation. Who
Yeah.
happens to be in Paterson, New Jersey, I guess for work purposes. He's from Japan.
Hmm.
And he happens to be a fan of Paterson's favorite poet, William Carlos Williams.
Hmm.
Name. And they just start this conversation. And
Right.
what did you think? I mean, what did you think about that?
I thought it was great because he saw through the Japanese man saw through everything.
Yeah.
To me, he was an equal to Adam Driver character. Because when he turned around and said to him, "Are you a poet?" No, I drive a bus.
Aha.
But then started questioning about poems, and he knew what it was, and that's the whole aha.
Yeah.
So you are this, He knew. He knew that there was something wrong. Didn't know what it was, but he helped him, if anything, get it out. I love that. I love the fact that he was also a poet. He wrote a book and had published. He had one of my favorite lines when he said about reading something translated is like taking a shower with a raincoat.
I love that.
And
Yeah.
I was like, that's a great line of describing it. And Adam Driver, being a poet,
Understood.
got it. He understood that.
Yeah.
The connection was made.
Yeah.
And that's when he went, aha. He just kept on saying, aha.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when the notebook originally gets destroyed, and he has the great quote in it, and it's like, oh, they were just words. And I can't remember if he said it or somebody else said it. It said there were words, just words written on water.
He did. He said that.
Did he say that? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
they were
If he
just
said-
words
did he say it
written
to
on
his
water.
wife? Did he say it to his wife?
Yeah.
And it's just like that. Just like they're irretrievable.
Right.
What's been lost can't be brought
Mm,
back.
yeah. And I loved when the Japanese guys handed him a blank book,
Yeah.
Yeah. And the
And
first
he
thing he
said-
does,
Yeah, he says sometimes empty page present most possibilities.
yep. And the
And-
first thing Adam Driver does is start writing. Goes right back into it.
Yeah, and it's the perfect solution.
Mm-hmm.
What he needed
Yeah.
was another book.
Yep. Because he knew what to do. He didn't throw it away. He didn't,
Right.
discard it. He looked at it, pulled the pen out of his pocket, did the
Yeah.
bang on the chest,
And just started.
started again.
Yep. Would you
And I
rather
loved
be a
it when the
fish?
Japanese guys, oh, by the way, aha. And he, I love that. That character was great because he came in out of the blue, but he was a kindred soul, a kindred spirit.
Yeah. And that's what he needed. He needed somebody who really understood it on that level.
Yeah.
Not as an outsider, not as an observationist, not as a tourist,
Mm-hmm.
somebody who really got it. And that guy did, and just put the whole thing back together again and just
Right.
picked him up and dusted him off.
And so you
without
start again.
without understanding any of the specifics of what had happened.
Mhm.
He was just able to do that. And with relative ease, the whole thing just kicks off again.
Yep.
And he starts writing. And that's it. That's the movie.
Yep. And that's it. And then the movie, Monday.
Yeah. Monday
They
again.
get up and he goes to work.
Yeah. I mean, wow.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, you think of all the. It's funny because you know that these aren't the movies that make $1 billion, this, that,
No.
and the other, but it seems that they should be.
Hmm. Or
Like
at least get a little more attention
yeah, it would be
from
a
people.
better world. Like we'd be living
Yeah.
in a better world. Because it was obvious to me watching this that we were watching, in terms of film, we were watching art.
Exactly.
This was a work of art. This was
Mhm.
not a Jason Statham movie. This was not
No.
where, oh, he used to be a Marine. Now he's doing this, but he has to go back into that old life. It's not some
Right.
action flick. Um,
It's
it's
not a CGI loaded movie.
right, but it's not even like him and his wife, arguing or having,
Yeah.
divorce or, this, that, or the other. It's just about everyday life and these subtle
Right.
variations in their routine. It's the same routine, but
Right.
it's just a little different. It's just
Yeah.
a little
And it works. The thing about it is, as you're watching this, you're going, you. I've had this conversation. It's very relatable to everybody, or at least in my opinion, would be relatable to everybody. What I was always worried about when someone, because they kept referring to it when I was reading stuff before I watched the movie, they were saying it was like, oh, it's like a poem put on film.
they're
And
kind of
I'm going, well, that would scare some people off because, poetry scares them, type deal. But when you were watching it, I'm going, no, this is a movie for everybody.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
It, it, well, like my buddy across the street, he probably wouldn't. He wants to watch the Jason Statham movie.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, this.
But then let me rephrase it. This is a movie for everybody because it doesn't exclude anybody.
Yeah,
I mean,
it can be
they
for
have the
everybody.
moment where he takes the guy down when he thought he had a gun.
Yeah,
There's your Jason Statham
yeah. There's your
moment.
Jason. Yeah, there's your Statham movie. We got a
You
little
know,
action in there. I don't even think there's any cursing in this.
no,
Oh well, I think the bartender. I think the bartender does some cursing,
yeah,
and his wife curses him out for stealing her hair
yeah.
money to go out
His hair money out of the jar.
for his chess tournament. Um,
That was funny.
yeah, that was pretty funny. That was pretty
I love that. That was
funny.
cute.
Yeah, but I mean, wow, uh, another gem, another
Yep.
gem that probably not nearly enough people have viewed, and they should. So
Yeah, they should.
it,
If anything, if you give it a look at it once and it doesn't intrigue you, well, then you don't have to see it again. You know,
there's a victory in you and I both watching it for the first time.
yeah,
If this show can persuade one other person who might be watching it live, or will watching it in the replay,
right.
decide to give it a shot again, it's exclusively on Amazon. I went out and found a $5 copy on DVD for Amazon on Amazon.com. So I've got a physical media copy coming. Looking forward to that. But yeah, give this movie a chance. Can't recommend it
Mhm.
enough. Can't
Yeah,
recommend it enough. Beautiful,
and it's an easy watch.
yeah,
It really is.
beautiful visuals, fantastic story. Um,
Oh, come on, they made a New Jersey Transit bus look cool.
yeah, yeah, they did. Yeah. And as many as of those that I've ridden on, yeah. For me,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I wouldn't mind going on a bus ride right now. I'm like, wait a minute, no, okay, so that part is just
My
all right.
favorite were the two twin girls with the red hair standing there going on the bus. They were
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
they were so
yeah.
bored. I'm going, I've been there.
That's a bus. Yeah, man,
Mhm.
I got a lot of reading done when I used to ride the bus. I used to get
Mhm.
a lot of. I would take a book with me, and I would just get a
Mhm.
shit ton of reading done. It was fantastic.
Exactly.
All right, we're coming up on 54, 55 minutes, actually. Is
Yep.
there anything about this film that we have not discussed that you would like
I
to?
think we covered it all, to be honest.
I think that what I did not discuss for me, which actually had me in tears, was the Brussels sprout and cheddar cheese pie. I don't.
Sorry.
That's one of the greatest pieces of acting I've seen in a while. where he's trying to convince his wife that he loves this cheddar cheese. She's, aren't you going to have some more pie? And he just keeps asking for more water. So like wash it down because that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard of.
You had Brussels. You like Brussels sprouts and you like cheddar cheese.
So I made a pie out of it, and you're just like, oh, that is just foul. That is just that was terrible. That was terrible.
But the look that was on his face, no, it's really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Like the small, it was like the small change when she looked away. You know, he knew he couldn't adjust his face that much. You know, but like the small, and he would just drink all the water, like trying to wash it down so he couldn't taste any more of it.
And I swear to God, I heard Marvin laugh.
Marvin was asleep on the chair and like put Marvin out or something. I don't know if he passed out from pain or whatever. But it's funny. I talk about that now, but I'm like, I guess that's love. You know, you choke down this food that you can't stand. You know, you just, yeah, this is great. I love it.
No, you did a good job, huh? No, seriously.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. I love it. Thank you. All right. Let's get to the part in the stream where we rate the film. This channel has a rating system that goes from 0 to 5 up by halves. So 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, all the way to 5. If zero, for example, would be I'd rather smell like rotten eggs all day around my best friends, all the way to 5, which is this is the journey, this is the destination, this is why I watch films in the first place. I don't have a physical copy in front of me, but what would you give Jim Jarmusch's Paterson?
It was poetry, so I'm giving it a 5.
Yeah.
I was very surprised how much I liked it. I mean, I thought I would like it. I mean, I wasn't going to sit there and go, it wasn't going to be any good. But the more and more I got into this, I'm like, this is a beautiful film. It's very well done.
It's a real work of art. I myself, I'm going with 5. And I've been saying this since we started with this, with the Summer of Kurosawa. This channel just hands out 5s now. It's not a 100% thing, but I mean, look what it was with the Coen brothers. Nothing but 5.
Right.
5.
Right.
Like later, 5. It's just, now we're here with Jarmusch. I don't know if it was that way with Zemeckis, but we handed out some 5s with that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's not to like? It's beautiful.
When a movie takes me by surprise, that I can honestly say, oh, I wasn't expecting that in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, it deserves the rating it gets.
And it's 10 years old. And I don't know of anybody that talks about Paterson. I don't know of anybody that does. And that's
well, I will be.
Yeah, same here.
You know.
So, yeah, we succeed in that point.
Yeah.
All right. Anything you need to plug?
Nothing at all this week. I'm good.
Okay. How was the cleanup?
You know what? We had about 35, 40 people show up.
Oh, that's nice.
Ranging anywhere from high school students to people that were older than me.
Okay.
And they were all, but they hustled and worked.
All right.
The two people who owned the place, they bought the place, I should say, to build the village. They brought a cake and a bunch of pieces for everybody to, have a couple slices, and
that's nice.
They sat in this 4-star restaurant and just laid them all. Here, have some pizza.
Okay.
And thanked them all for volunteering and talked about a new building they're trying to get there and bring in this year. To have it set up by July, and it was fun. It was really, it was weird because I saw a bunch of students that I knew, and they were walking up and calling me Mr. Alvarez, and people who knew me from there going, who the hell is Mr. Alvarez? Because they just call me John.
Gotcha.
Type deal. I'm like, no, that's me, guys. Sorry, but it was good. It was a good cleanup, and I think there's enough wood now for a huge bonfire.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad that worked out. For this channel, well, I mean, we're coming up. It's coming up. Well, I mean, it's Holy Week, so we're coming up Good Friday on Friday, Holy Thursday, and then Easter Sunday, and we'll be back after Easter this coming Wednesday. with the next Jim Jarmusch film, and I'm going with Ghost Dog.
There you go.
That I have seen before. If you have access to HBO, John, it's available on there. And that's the one we'll be covering next. We're going to do two Jarmusch films that I have seen, Ghost Dog and Dead Man. And then we'll cover another one that Bill wanted to watch, whose name escapes me. But next week we'll be back with Jim Jarmusch's Ghost Dog. So
with Forrest Whitaker.
Henry Silva.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a few good people in that. So.
Yep. I was shocked how much I like that.
Yeah. It is a good film. It's an interesting film. And Jarmusch just does weird films.
Mm-hmm.
He just does weird films. But they're good.
I saw him being interviewed with Martin Scorsese on a panel.
Okay.
And someone had asked him, why doesn't he do more films? And he says, people offer me films. And I'm like, they should get the people who wrote the films or who have an interest or an investment in the story. I'd rather do mine,
Yeah, it's a great answer.
Keep plugging on with mine because, I show more dedication to it. Yeah. Because I could easily just keep making movies,
right,
just to make a movie, but I'd rather make a movie I want to see.
Yeah, you want to see a Jim Jarmusch film.
Yeah.
So not the new Transformers.
Exactly.
All right, boss. My thanks to John K. Alvarez. This was a great movie. We will be back next week with yet another Jarmusch film. John, happy Easter to you.
Happy Easter to you, Michael.
Indeed. And we will see you all in the next one. All right, take care, everyone. God bless you.